The ocean covers over 70% of our planet, yet we've explored less than 5%. Beneath those dark, endless waves lie ancient secrets, unsolved mysteries, and creatures no one can explain. Are you ready to dive into the shadows of the deep, where the truth is still sleeping? Subscribe now to uncover the secrets time tried to bury beneath the sea. A chilling SOS echoed across the sea. All officers dead. I am dying too. When the Silver Star approached, they found the entire crew of the SS Ourang Medan dead, faces frozen in terror. Moments later, the ship exploded and vanished forever. Was it a warning or a gateway to hell? SS Ourang Medan, the ghost ship in the South Seas, based on a real incident reported in 1947. To this day, it remains unsolved. The SS Ourang Medan was first reported in mid-1947 through distress signals received by several merchant ships sailing between Malaysia, Indonesia, and the Strait of Malacca. The SOS was intercepted by at least 2 ships from the US and the Netherlands. The chilling message: all officers dead. I am dying too. Please help. Then, absolute silence. The Silver Star, a Dutch freighter, was the only vessel to locate the drifting Ourang Medan. Upon boarding, their crew found the entire crew of the ship dead, faces twisted in horror. Moments later, the Ourang Medan exploded and sank, leaving no survivors, NOAA ever determined. Who sent the transmission, or why every soul aboard died without a mark? In June 1947, the calm seas between Indonesia and Malaysia suddenly became the epicenter of mystery when the city of Baltimore, USA, and Silver Star, Netherlands, intercepted a strange distress signal. S.O.S. from Ourang Medan, all officers dead. I am dying too. Please help. The voice was broken, faint, and then vanished completely. There were no precise coordinates, no ship registry or logs, just a flickering signal and a creeping sense of dread. The Silver Star decided to trace the transmission. 2 days later, they spotted a vessel adrift, dark, silent, and flagless, floating like a ghost on the water. At dawn, 6 crew members from the Silver Star boarded the Ourang Medan. The ship didn't respond to hails. There was no engine hum, no human sound, just the smell of burned metal and something rotting. The first body was in the bridge. A radio officer, mouth wide open, eyes bulging, arms stretched out as if to push something away. Across the deck, 7 more corpses were found. One clutching his chest as though something had crushed him, another curled against the wall, eyes wet from dried tears. One appeared to be mid-scream, no wounds. No blood, no visible trauma, but the bodies were ice cold and stiff, despite the tropical heat. In the communication room, the rescue team found a logbook written in Dutch. The last entry was dated June 3rd, 1947. There is something in the cargo hold, scratching sounds, whispers, smells like burnt powder. The entry was signed by Peter Van Eyck, a radio sergeant. His body was never found. No one could identify what whispers meant, only that sometime during the night, the entire ship turned into a floating tomb. One Silver Star sailor later said, "I've seen war, corpses, but I've never seen people die looking like they were afraid of being alive." As the Silver Star crew prepared to tow the Ourang Medan, a thick black smoke began rising from the cargo hold. Seconds later, a massive explosion tore the ship apart. Flames shot skyward. The heat was overwhelming. The smell of chemicals and burning metal filled the air. The rescue crew barely escaped. The Ourang Medan disappeared beneath the sea within hours. No trace left, no remains, and most importantly, no answers. Several theories emerged after the incident. Some believed the ship carried illegal chemical weapons, cyanide, phosgene, or nitroglycerin, all volatile and deadly. Others believed it was an unregistered ghost ship used for occult rituals or to transport forbidden relics. One Dutch investigative journalist wrote, "The crew didn't just die. They saw something they weren't supposed to." Worse still, multiple ships confirmed hearing the SOS, but no international maritime database ever confirmed the existence of the Ourang Medan. In 1952, a declassified U.S. Navy report stated, "A vessel known as Ourang Medan sank under unexplained conditions involving unusual elements that remain undisclosed." Shortly after, the document vanished from official archives. Fishermen near the Strait of Malacca later claimed they occasionally saw blue lights flickering across the waves. Some reported picking up faint radio signals on stormy nights. The same message from 1947, "All are dead. I am dying too." No one knows where the signal came from or if it's still being transmitted. Today, the Ourang Medan remains one of the most terrifying unsolved maritime cases. There is no official record of the ship, no registry, no survivors, but over 6 separate vessels from the US, Netherlands, and Japan confirmed receiving the exact same distress call. Who sent it? How could an entire crew die in terror without a single drop of blood? What was in the ship's hold, and why did it detonate moments after discovery? In a handwritten note from a now-lost U.S. Navy file, someone wrote, "If there ever was a door between this world and the next, Ourang Medan was the crack in that door." Do you believe a ship can die completely intact, with only terror as the cause? Could something not of this world have entered the ship that fateful night in 1947? And if the final SOS is still being broadcast, would you dare to answer it? In August 1997, NOAA recorded a mysterious deep-sea sound in the South Pacific, lasting nearly a minute and heard across thousands of kilometers. No known creature could have made it. They called it blue, and to this day, no one knows what it was. Bloop, the mysterious sound from the Antarctic deep. Based on a real event recorded by NOAA in 1997, the loudest underwater sound ever captured. In August 1997, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, recorded an unusual underwater sound in the South Pacific Ocean, approximately 1,500 kilometers off the coast of Antarctica. The sound lasted about 1 minute, with extremely high amplitude, and was detected simultaneously by multiple hydrophone stations thousands of kilometers apart. Its frequency resembled that of a biological organism, but no known creature on Earth is large enough to produce such a sound. The phenomenon was dubbed bloop. To this day, there is no widely accepted scientific explanation. On August 8, 1997, NOAA's Equatorial Pacific Autonomous Hydrophone Array, located near Ascension Island, picked up a strange underwater signal coming from the South Pacific. First, it sounded like low static, but quickly intensified into a deep, slow, drawn-out rumble lasting nearly a minute. The sound was described as a massive bloop, heavy, resonant, and seemingly in motion. Strangely, for other monitoring stations recorded the exact same sound, despite being separated by thousands of kilometers. The triangulated origin was traced near the Balleny Basin off the coast of Antarctica, a remote area with no ships, no volcanic activity, and no ice shelf collapse at the time. The origin zone is one of the deepest and least explored regions of the world's oceans. No military bases, no submarine routes, and no human activity were registered in the area at that time. A team of marine biologists, oceanographers, and acoustic engineers reviewed the recordings. They agreed. The sound's frequency is similar to that of whale calls, but the amplitude is 30 times stronger than that of a blue whale, Earth's largest known animal. The initial conclusion: the sound came from a biological source, but no one dared to guess what kind of creature it could be. Recordings of the bloop were distributed selectively within research circles. Several independent scientists attempted to study it, but the raw data was withheld by NOAA for nearly 3 years. A researcher named Christopher Barnes from the University of British Columbia presented his analysis of the bloop's waveform at a 2001 conference. His conclusion: "I don't believe this is biological. I believe it's a massive shift in geologic structure, or something beneath the ocean floor." Following this presentation, Barnes abruptly withdrew from public research and disappeared from academic circles. Starting in 2002, the bloop's origin site was designated as a special meteorological research zone, restricting access to private and civilian expeditions. A marine scientist involved in one of the early research missions anonymously stated, "We weren't allowed to bring deep-sea imaging equipment. Only acoustic and salinity measurement devices were permitted. I had the feeling something had already been found, and we were merely there to observe what was left." In 2005, a civilian research crew from the Deep South Project launched a self-operating camera drone into the waters near coordinates 50 degrees south, 100 degree W. The camera functioned normally until it reached a depth of approximately 3,400 meters. Suddenly, The video became distorted in the final frames. Total blackness, then the appearance of a massive, blurry shape passing across the field of view before the signal cut out. The equipment was never recovered. A copy of the final footage was allegedly leaked, but NOAA dismissed it as non-authentic. In 2010, a sound similar to the original bloop was recorded again, this time with lower amplitude, but with an identical waveform location near the southern edge of the Tonga Trench, 2,000 kilometers from the original site. The shift in location raised new fears. If this is a living entity and it can move this quickly, then its size and biology defy all current understanding. A month later, the data was removed from NOAA's public access site, with an official statement claiming the sound is consistent with subglacial ice shelf collapse. However, glaciologists immediately disputed this, noting that no ice melt occurred in that region at the time. The final question remains: if bloop is a creature, where does it live? How does it survive? And why has no one seen it? And if it's not a creature, then what kind of force beneath the sea could send out a tremor heard across oceans? 1. Anonymous marine biologist once wrote, "I don't think it was a sound. I think it was a breath, a slow, deep inhale from something that has been asleep for millennia." Do you believe there are creatures in the ocean that we have never discovered? Giants hidden beneath the abyss? If bloop was not a creature, nor a quake or glacier collapse, could it have been a signal from something? Awakening. And if that sound begins to repeat itself, louder, closer, more frequent, will we be ready to listen? In 1968, the USS Scorpion nuclear submarine vanished in the Atlantic with 99 crew aboard. No distress signal, no explosion, no survivors. 5 months later, the wreck was found, crushed 3,000 meters deep. No official explanation. Most data, classified for decades. Is there something beneath the sea we're not ready to face? USS Scorpion, the submarine that never returned. North Atlantic Ocean, 1968, 99 missing. No official explanation. The USS Scorpion, SSN 589, was a skipjack-class nuclear-powered attack submarine in the United States Navy, commissioned in 1960. On May 22, 1968, the Scorpion was reported missing while returning from a Mediterranean deployment. The vessel carried 99 crew members. After 5 months of classified search operations, the wreckage was found 3,000 meters deep in the North Atlantic Ocean, about 400 miles southwest of the Azores. Despite several investigations, the U.S. Navy has never publicly declared a definitive cause of the incident. On May 21, 1968, USS Scorpion transmitted a routine position report from the waters near the Azores. Commander Slattery radioed, "All systems normal." Proceeding to Norfolk. That was the last transmission ever received. 12 hours later, Scorpion vanished from all communication channels. No distress signal, no nuclear alerts, no sonar pings. Initially, the Navy assumed a temporary blackout, but 3 days later, a full-scale classified search operation was launched with no one knowing exactly where to look. The most unsettling part, the global SOSUS underwater surveillance system, designed to detect Soviet submarines, recorded nothing during the time Scorpion disappeared. 2 weeks later, a young acoustic technician named John Walker reanalyzed the hydrophone data and discovered something buried deep, a series of underwater acoustic events. 5 rapid implosive bursts over 3 minutes, recorded 400 miles southwest of the Azores. The sounds resembled a submarine's internal structure being violently crushed. The data was immediately encrypted and classified. For decades, it remained locked away. On October 31st, 1968, the USNS Mizar located the wreckage of Scorpion at a depth of nearly 3,000 meters. Underwater cameras revealed the submarine's hull split in two, its tail section twisted, and the bow crushed flat, as if gripped by immense pressure. There were no burn marks, no sign of external explosion. All hatches were sealed. No escape pods were launched. One Navy engineer noted. It looked like an invisible hand grabbed the sub mid-body and crushed it in seconds. The Navy investigation listed 3 possible causes. 1. Malfunction of a Mark 37 torpedo, possibly triggering a self-destruct. 2. Collision with a Soviet submarine, though no evidence supported this. 3. Nuclear system failure, ruled out immediately by Navy officials. But the wreckage showed no burn marks, no internal explosion, and the damage seemed to come from outside, not within. So, did something external destroy the Scorpion? In 1984, Navy acoustic physicist Bruce Rule published an unofficial report. "I believe Scorpion was destroyed by extreme external pressure, not a known explosion." The acoustic signature doesn't match any conventional detonation ever recorded. His findings were soon classified as restricted content. During a closed-door meeting, a senior officer told him, "Let Scorpion rest. Don't ask again." In 1993, a retired radar technician claimed, "The array picked up a strange pulse, a deep, sustained frequency that rose, then vanished. The energy matched what would be expected from a tectonic scale collapse, but with no accompanying seismic activity." 1 Suppressed theory circulated quietly. Scorpion might have encountered something not human and not mechanical. Declassified 2008 note in a report read, "The deformation observed in the wreck's pressure hull could not have been caused by any known naval weapon." In 2012, a civilian research team requested to revisit the wreck of Scorpion to assess environmental radiation impact. Their request was denied. No explanation given. The wreck remains untouched. No salvage operation, no public memorial. 1 Naval historian noted, "Scorpion is the only nuclear sub not honored with a full military remembrance." as if the Navy wants to forget it ever existed. Some sailors on nearby patrols have reported hearing strange metallic echoes from the deep, like distant banging, echoing upward from 3,000 meters below, as if something still hasn't let go. What could possibly tear apart a nuclear submarine at 3,000 meters with no trace of explosion? Did Scorpion encounter an unknown entity or a natural force beyond our comprehension? And the most haunting question, why? Hasn't the Navy ever revealed the truth after more than 50 years? In May 2014, the deep-sea vehicle Nereus vanished nearly 11,000 meters below. No explosion, no emergency signal, just one strange 11-second sound. Fragments were found, but its core and final data never surfaced. NOAA blamed pressure, but engineers believed it saw something. If the ocean's deepest point hides danger, what did Nereus encounter? Nereus, Nightmare in the Mariana Trench. Based on the real-life loss of the Nereus deep-sea vehicle in May 2014 at nearly 11,000 meters depth. Nereus was one of the very few unmanned underwater vehicles ever built capable of reaching the bottom of the Mariana Trench at depths exceeding 10,900 meters on May 10, 2014. While conducting a deep-sea survey near the Western Chromatic Trench. Nereus lost contact at nearly 10,000 meters deep. A few outer fragments were later recovered, but the core systems and central camera unit were never found. While NOAA claimed the cause was crushing pressure exceeding design limits, many scientists and mission members have since said something wasn't right. Nereus, developed by the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution, WHOI, had successfully descended to the bottom of the Mariana Trench in 2009. In 2014, it was deployed to study the Chromatic Trench, part of a geological fault system connecting the deepest points on Earth. On May 10th, weather conditions were ideal: calm sea, gentle wind. The RV Thomas G. Thompson launched Nereus from its deck. Early readings were normal, 3,000 meters, then 7,000, down to 9,770 meters. Suddenly, a temperature spike occurred. Strange audio interference began. Then, total silence. Nereus' last data stream included an 11-second distorted audio signal. The sound resembled metal being dragged, followed by a low reverberating roar, wordless, massive, and untraceable. The control station on board the ship attempted a system reset. Nothing responded. 2 hours later, engineers declared, Nereus is no longer transmitting from any frequency. One researcher muttered, "We didn't hear an explosion. No distress beacon. It just ceased to exist." On May 11th, recovery teams retrieved 5 fragments of the external shell, floating between 5,000 to 6,000 meters. But the central control core and main camera were completely missing. One titanium pipe had a tear that appeared to be bent outward, inconsistent with external crushing. Several alloy panels were ripped like foil, not shattered. An engineer whispered, "If it was a pressure implosion, we'd expect pulverized debris, not jagged, shredded. Seems like it was torn open." One week after the loss, a data technician at Woods Hole revealed that the last 10 minutes of Nereus logs had been deleted from the internal archive. The logs listed two files: vid_09773 MOV, deleted audio_low_ 10-minute wave, changed to confidential, locked status. No team members were given access. One departing engineer scribbled a single note in his journal. What Nereus saw wasn't part of any biological or geological classification we know. A theory began circulating internally. Nereus may have encountered a living entity in the Hadal Zone, where nearly all known life is unable to survive. Some biologists speculated the existence of a prehistoric life form, or perhaps an organism, based on silicon biology, thermal energy, or an unknown chemistry. Yet the real reason for NOAA and government silence, some claimed, was not public panic, but fear that others might start searching too. An independent research team labeled the event Contact 10K: at depths over 10,000 meters. We may be looking at microenergy fields or non-carbon-based intelligence. They cited Cold War-era Soviet documents reporting unidentified glowing pulses deep beneath the Kuril Trench. Like Nereus, the Soviet probe vanished after recording a single flash of bluish light. All such reports have disappeared from public archives. Many believe the Mariana Trench and other deep-sea trenches hold something far older than humanity, and that Nereus had seen what should not be seen. At Woods Hole, they installed a commemorative plaque for Nereus as if it were a lost vessel, not a robot. The final line etched into the metal: "He dove into the unknown and stayed there." If Nereus was just a machine, who or what tore it apart like foil? If something exists beneath the sea that is not human, should we keep diving down? And if those last 10 minutes were deleted, perhaps it's we who were never meant to know. In 2012, researchers discovered a massive hemispherical structure deep beneath the Bermuda Triangle. Its surface was mirror smooth, with precise cuts, emitting magnetic distortion and eerie static whispers. Instruments failed. Data was seized. Scientists were told to stay silent. No one knows if it's a structure or something alive and dormant. And if it's a transmitter, who's waiting to receive the signal? The seafloor slice, the signal from Bermuda. Bermuda Triangle, 2012. a strange underwater structure discovered at 2,000 meters depth. In 2012, a Bermuda deep-sea mapping expedition using high-powered 3D sonar imaging discovered an enormous, perfectly smooth hemispherical stone structure on the ocean floor. The formation had straight, precise cuts, as if sliced by a laser.it, emitted weak electrical signals, disrupted local magnetic fields, and caused equipment malfunctions. Geologists were unable to explain its shape or material composition. Only partial data was released. Sonar recordings were later blocked from public release. The expedition was conducted by the Havana Institute of Oceanography in partnership with a private research group called Ocean Seeker. Their mission: survey ancient tectonic collapse patterns beneath the Bermuda Triangle. On June 18, 2012, at a depth of 2,120 meters, sonar detected a perfect hemispherical structure, nearly 300 meters wide, standing about 90 meters tall. What shocked researchers was the high sonar reflectivity, the mirror-smooth surface, and two intersecting incisions aligned at perfect 90-degree angles, like a giant coordinate grid. One geologist exclaimed, "Nothing in nature makes cuts like these. This was definitely made by something, or someone." As the survey ship approached to deploy an ROV, remotely operated vehicle, compasses began spinning wildly. Power on board flickered. Sonar readings scrambled. Audio equipment recorded a static-laced whispering in no known language. A technician reported, "It felt like our instruments were picking up a low-frequency hum, almost like breathing or an ancient machine." The team chose to stay 500 meters away, using sonar imaging only, no physical contact. They feared that whatever was giving off that energy was still functioning. Spectral analysis showed the outer surface was made of glass-like silicon alloy with rare minerals, unlike any native geology. Model simulations suggested the structure could withstand over 10,000 atmospheres of pressure. It showed no erosion. Despite being submerged for over 10,000 years, it was magnetically reactive, but not metallic, a marine physicist concluded. If this was artificial, it couldn't have been made by any known human civilization. And if it wasn't, where did it come from? After Ocean Seeker uploaded sonar blueprints to their private site, all sonar data was ordered offline within 48 hours by an unnamed U.S. security agency. No legal explanation was given, but every team member received a direct warning to stay silent. Several left the project and never appeared at any scientific conference again. One entry in the internal log reads, "We didn't find a structure. We found a sealed door, buried, waiting to be reopened." An independent study showed that 6 of the 12 major disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle over the last 80 years occurred near this structure's coordinates. Flight 19, the infamous 1945 disappearance, passed directly above this point. Some theorized the structure wasn't just a building, but a signal transmitter or magnetic interference source capable of disorienting human instruments and minds alike. Off-mainstream researchers proposed a pre-human civilization theory. suggesting the structure might be a power station or signal tower built by a lost race. Others went further, calling it a submerged alien beacon or even a time gate beneath the sea. A terrifying question arose. If it's a transmitter, what on the other end is waiting to receive? One former Ocean Seeker member broke years of silence in a short blog post, later deleted. "I don't think it's a structure. I think it's a sleeping entity, fossilized in a different layer of consciousness." He claimed the night before the discovery, the crew shared the same dream of a slowly rotating stone orb deep underwater, whispering in a language no one understood. The research team disbanded after the mission. No civilian vessels have been permitted near those coordinates since. If there's a man-made structure beneath the sea, who built it? If it's not a structure, is it alive or waking up? And if every instrument near it fails, could the ocean itself be protecting a secret not meant for us to know? In 1991, a deep-sea drilling team near Antarctica uncovered a hollow sphere encased in 8 concentric stone layers. The moment the drill touched the outer shell, power failed, strange signals surged, and one engineer vanished. 3 others required psychiatric care, and the data was deleted from all servers. A strange symbol repeated 8 times, a warning carved in silence. If this isn't just ancient rock, but the Earth's memory itself, what have we awakened? The 8th barrier, memory beneath the sediment. Scotia Sea, Antarctica, 1991. A drilling operation never officially disclosed. In February 1991, an international geological alliance sponsored by the United Nations launched Project Argon, aiming to study the ancient subsea floor layers beneath the Scotia Sea, one of the most remote marine regions near Antarctica. The goal: drill into sediment layers dating back to the Cambrian period at a depth of over 1,500 meters below the ocean floor. The team discovered a perfectly spherical hollow chamber, encased by 8 evenly spaced concentric barriers. When the drill made contact with the outer shell, a mild explosion occurred. All electronics were scrambled, and one Norwegian engineer vanished without a trace. The incident was officially closed under the explanation: instrument failure caused by unstable geology. But 3 members later underwent extended psychiatric care. Project Argon was a joint scientific initiative involving Germany, Japan, Canada, the United States, and the UN, aiming to access untouched tectonic layers beneath the seafloor. Survey ship Deep Core 3 was equipped with high-pressure drilling rigs and ultra-sensitive seismic radar arrays. On February 12, 1991, at coordinates east of the Scotia Sea rim, radar signals changed drastically at 1,400 to 1,600 meters. A hollow, spherical formation 120 meters in diameter surrounded by 8 evenly spaced, thin stone layers resembling artificial material. The 3D model appeared like a subterranean eye, hidden within 500-million-year-old strata. As the drill neared the outermost layer, sonar and radar blacked out for 6 seconds. When they returned, the data showed glass-smooth surfaces and perfect angular cuts, like stone processed with high-precision lasers. That a Japanese engineer murmured, "This isn't sediment. It looks cast. Someone or something built this." They named it the 8th barrier, an external shell that appeared to protect a core chamber, layered like nested defense rings. But this 8th layer exhibited magnetic reversal and interfered with all onboard electronics, like an active energy field. When the drill tip touched the 8th layer, a silent explosion shook through the ship's hull. Without any recorded seismic event on the surface, camera feeds glitched. Electrical pulses surged across the vessel. All control monitors simultaneously displayed pulsating green spirals, repeating like a code being read aloud. At that moment, Eric Madsen, a Norwegian systems engineer, walked into the auxiliary electrical bay and never came back. The crew initiated a full search. No doors opened, no alarms, no fall detection. He was simply gone. Over the following 3 nights, for crew members reported identical dreams. A giant glowing eye, suspended in darkness, encased in slowly rotating layers of stone, breathing. The ship's psychologist documented symptoms in 6 individuals. Temporal disorientation, inability to recognize familiar faces, persistent sensation of being watched. From inside the sea, one of them whispered, "Something was speaking to me, not in words, but through my mind." Data from Station Argon 3 was mysteriously wiped from Woods Hole servers. The official report to the UN stated, "Drill intersected gas pocket. Geoelectric anomalies followed. No significant findings, but a hidden folder preserved by a Canadian technician, later leaked, contains sonar images labeled with symbols not matching any known language. 1 repeating symbol. AVA linguist who analyzed it concluded, it's a warning, not a message, a prohibition. An alternate theory emerged. These weren't barriers. They were geological memory vaults, encodings left not for humans, but for something older, something not bound by decay or time. Scholars called it the Hadal Archive hypothesis, suggesting Earth hosts biological archives stored in stone and magnetism, preserving the collective memory of an extinct or dormant non-human intelligence. What the drill touched wasn't a structure. It was a recorder. In 2004, an ESA satellite recorded rotating magnetic pulses from the same coordinates. Perfect concentric ripples every 27 hours. An O-current system explained the pulses. No tectonic activity has ever been reported within 200 kilometers since the BY 2010. The region was permanently restricted due to subsurface instability. But geological readings remain quiet. Too quiet for such a claim. Whatever lies beneath, it's still there. Watching, remembering. If the seafloor contains the Earth's memories, what have we just touched? If that barrier is a door, what's waiting behind it? And if the missing man wasn't pulled, but invited, never to return? In April 2020, a robotic probe descended 10,732 meters into the Tonga Trench, reaching a depth no human has ever approached. There, it recorded a 9-meter entity, eyeless, reflexless, and without a nervous system. A tissue sample continued to breathe in sync with tidal waves, even inside a vacuum. All data was seized, and the research team silenced. What they found may not have been a creature, but a gateway for something else. Fatal mutation, life without reflection. Tonga Trench, Western Pacific, 2020. The deepest recorded organism ever encountered. In April 2020, during a deep-sea biological survey sponsored by the U.S. National Academy of Sciences, the research vessel RV Horizon Deep conducted 3 dives into the Tonga Trench, reaching depths exceeding 10,800 meters. During the second dive, the autonomous submersible Ariel 7 captured footage of a non-classified moving entity lying motionless near the trench floor. The creature measured nearly 9 meters long, resembling a squid but lacked eyes, exhibited no response to light, and had no central nervous system. Tissue samples showed microscopic electrical pulses synchronized with deep ocean sound waves. Within 1 week, all related data was removed from research databases. Some scientists later confirmed it wasn't an organism. It was something that exists between life and something undefined. The Tonga Trench is one of Earth's 3 deepest oceanic regions, second only to the Mariana Trench. On April 17, 2020, the team reached 10,732 meters, a depth from which no ROV had ever returned full-footage Ariel 7, an autonomous robot equipped with thermal imaging, sonar, and bioclamps, recorded a slow-moving mass, tentacle-like, yet not following the laws of inertia. One crew member noted. Down there, where no oxygen remains, something was waiting. Upon closer inspection, Ariel 7 filmed what appeared to be a translucent, giant squid-like creature. However, no visible eyeballs, no oxygen absorption organs, and no response to light, heat, or current. Its internal structure lacked a spine and central nervous system, yet was woven with ultra-thin conductive fibers, resembling an open neural lattice. Dr. Lillian Novak, a hadal biology expert, remarked, "This isn't a species, it's a presence formed by Earth's deepest conditions." A 0.5-meter tentacle was extracted for sampling. Under microscope analysis, the tissue did not decay, nor did it denature under gamma radiation. Astonishingly, in a vacuum chamber, The tissue contracted gently every 11.3 seconds, perfectly matching. Deep-sea acoustic wave intervals recorded at 10,000 meters that a marine physicist proposed. Instead of biochemical respiration, it resonates with oceanic sound fields, as if the ocean itself is its lung. As the robot attempted to collect more samples, all video transmission went dark for 4 minutes and 12 seconds. When restored, the footage was shaky and dim, showing only a single frame. The entity had risen upright, spread like a flower, and disappeared in a motion trail. No thermal signature, no trace left behind. Ariel 7 system crashed and required full reboot. The core file was renamed contact_HDL #077, never reopened. On April 25th, Dr. Novak was summoned to a meeting with Naval and Homeland Security officials. Within 24 hours, all research files, videos, photos, biological samples disappeared from the Institute's servers. The team was separated, each required to sign permanent non-disclosure agreements. One technician quietly revealed, "I don't think it attacked us. It scanned us like we scan DNA." An underground scientific collective proposed that what Ariel 7 encountered wasn't a being, it was a living biological device designed to receive planetary biological input. They coined the term biological resonance host, a living antenna where physics and biology intersect. They theorized it's a deep-sea antenna, transmitting signals, but not for human ears. A leaked internal report included a handwritten note. "It doesn't die. It doesn't live. It doesn't need to know. It only responds. It's not a destination. It's a junction." The final line, circled in red, "We were not observing it. It was observing Earth through us." If something lives without reflexes, yet exists between silence and vibration, what is it waiting for? If tissue still breathes in sync with ocean rhythms, is the ocean nurturing something unnamed? And if all the data was erased, did we unknowingly activate a system not of this world? What you've just heard is only a glimpse of the countless secrets the ocean hides. There are still many strange, eerie, and untold stories waiting to be uncovered. Share your thoughts in the comments. What do you believe is real, and what truths are we not ready to face? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe with the notification bell on, so you never miss the next deep-sea mystery waiting to be revealed.